Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Faye D'Souza. Over the last 1 week, we've experimented by giving you 10 minutes of news every evening, like an old school news bulletin. No opinion, no debate, no shouting, no fuss, just the news. I want to thank you for the last 1 week for giving us your feedback on how we can make this better. So we've attempted today to take a lot of the feedback on board and add some production value and see if we can make it better. Continue to give us your feedback and tell us if this is useful and how we can improve it even further. So for today, on the 22nd of February 2021, let's take a new look at the news. To begin with, 21-year-old climate change activist Disha Ravi has been sent back to police custody for one more day in the toolkit case. The Patiala House Court turned down the Delhi police's request for 5 days of custody for the young woman. The public prosecutor argued that Disha Ravi had been evasive during interrogation and was shifting the blame on co-accused Shantanu Mulk and Nikita Jacob. The Sessions Court will also pronounce orders on her bail plea tomorrow. Remember, Disha was arrested on the 13th of February from her home in Bangalore by the Delhi police in connection with their investigation in the toolkit case. 81-year-old poet, activist Varavara Rao, who has been in jail for over 2 years in the Bhima Koregaon case, was granted temporary bail for 6 months by the Bombay High Court today. Rao has been granted bail on medical grounds with some conditions. Now, he's been asked to surrender after the bail period is over, to furnish a bond of 50,000 rupees, to stay in Mumbai and be available for investigation. The marquee point of this particular order was that the division bench of the High Court said, and I quote, "We are of the opinion that this is a genuine, fit case to grant relief, or else we will be abdicating our constitutional duty and function as the protector of human rights." End quote. Varavara Rao has been in custody since the 28th of August 2018, awaiting trial in this case. He has been ailing very severely and he has, of course, a very advanced age. Moving to the south of India, Puducherry's Congress government lost its majority today after the motion of confidence moved by Chief Minister V. Narayan Swamy, I beg your pardon, was defeated. After walking out of the assembly, Narayan Swamy tendered his resignation to the Lieutenant Governor, Tamilisai Soundarajan. A series of resignations from the Congress party has led to the ruling government's reduced strength. It's now at 12 and the opposition is at 14. The Chief Minister has accused the BJP of trying to topple his government by adopting Operation Kamla, which is the name that BJP's critics have given their plan of allegedly destabilizing state governments. With this, the Congress has now lost its only government in the south of India. After this Congress losing power, the rival alliance, which is BJP, AIADMK and NR Congress, may be asked to form the government, but there are only 3 months to go now before the next election, so the Lieutenant Governor might also ask for President's rule. Moving on to an update right now on the COVID front. The state of Maharashtra is recording some really worrying numbers when it comes to new COVID cases. The state has reported close to 7,000 new cases on Sunday alone. Now, this is a sharp rise from the 2,000 cases it was reporting earlier this month. Now, the state reported 6,971 new cases on Sunday. And to give you a perspective of where that is, the whole country reported 14,199 cases, half of which came from Maharashtra. 4,000 cases came from the state of Kerala. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has announced a 1-week lockdown in the Amravati district starting today. He's also said that all political, religious and social gatherings will be banned in the entire state from today as well. The Chief Minister has urged people to follow the guidelines and to wear their masks. He's cautioned that if numbers keep going up over the next 8 to 15 days, a full lockdown might need to be announced. The state of Karnataka, in the meantime, has closed its borders to Kerala in the Dakshina Karnataka and Mangalore region. Now, long queues of vehicles were witnessed today as the border areas this morning. Karnataka authorities sealed all of the roads, including the national highways, and restricted entry only to those who had COVID negative certificates. Now, I want to remind you that people from Kasaragod in Kerala cross over to Mangalore. They're really close to each other. They cross over to Mangalore to access the hospitals, the schooling, the colleges on a daily basis. But Karnataka officials at the border have said that those who wish to enter will need to have a COVID negative certificate, which is an RT-PCR test taken at least 72 hours prior to their crossing over into the state. Moving on to the north of India, in Uttar Pradesh, Finance Minister Suresh Khanna on Monday presented the state budget of 5.5 lakh crore rupees for this financial year. In this budget, 140 crore rupees were proposed for the development of Ayodhya. The under construction airport in Ayodhya will now be called the Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram Airport, and a provision of 101 crore rupees has been set aside for this airport in the budget. Besides the provision for the Ayodhya airport, they will also, which will subsequently, I understand, be made an international airport. The budget provides for 2,000 crore rupees for increasing the number of airstrips at the Jawar airport from 2 to 6. Aligarh, Moradabad and Meerut will also be linked through an air service soon. In some other announcements, 4,800 crore rupees have been set aside for agriculture and farmer welfare for the empowerment of women. The Yogi Adityanath government plans to distribute tablets to girl students with a sum of 1,200 crore rupees, 100 crore rupees to ensure proper nutrition for girls, and 32 crore rupees for setting up Mahila Shakti Kendras. Speaking of Mahila Shakti, also from Uttar Pradesh, news on the Unnao case, the second Unnao case of crime against women. 2 accused have now been sent to judicial custody by a court on Saturday. The police have now added the charge of poisoning after one of these accused, Vinay Kumar, confessed to giving the 3 Dalit minor girls pesticide mixed with water because one of those girls apparently rejected his advances. He's said to have pursued one of those girls and decided to poison her when she refused to give him her phone number. According to his confession, the other 2 girls also drank from the same water bottle, which was laced with pesticide, and he couldn't stop them. He and his accomplice then moved the girls' bodies into the family's field, and they fled. They've been charged now with murder, destruction of evidence, and administering poison. To just remind you of this case, 3 minor Dalit girls left home on Wednesday afternoon to collect fodder for cattle. They were found unconscious in an agricultural field when they didn't return home. 2 girls were declared dead when they reached the hospital, and the third is still in hospital. Let's take a look at business news now coming in from the stock market. The Sensex fell by over 1,000 points today, or it's about 2% of the total index in afternoon trading hours. Now, if you combine this with the fall of the last 5 days or the 5 last trading sessions, that's a total fall of 2,300 points or 4.5%. So what you're looking at on your screen right now is just today. According to the Economic Times, investors in the stock market lost about 1,000 crore rupees per minute today. Now, these are shocking statistics, but really, let me put this into perspective for you, and let's take a look at the last 6 months, because that's what we should be looking at. So you look at it really from September, the market has gone up 15,000 points. So 15,000 points up, 2,000 points down. So it doesn't look so bad if you take a look at the whole perspective. And the fall that we're seeing is in tandem with the global markets, where we've seen government bond yields actually go up. So what normally happens when government bond yields go up is that investors tend to move their money from the stock market into government bonds, especially foreign investors. And that's really the sentiment that you're seeing sort of play out in our market today. Let's also take a look at international news. Hundreds and thousands of protesters have taken to the streets in Myanmar in one of the largest demonstrations so far against the country's military coup. Businesses closed today as employees joined the general strike. And this is despite the fact that the military that has taken control put out a statement saying protesters would be risking their lives if they step out to protest. Police dispersed crowds in the capital of Nay Pai Thaw, and a water cannon truck was seen moving into position, according to the BBC. Myanmar has seen weeks of protest following a military coup on the 1st of February. A statement by the military carried on the state-run broadcasters said the protesters were, and I quote, inciting people. especially emotional teenagers and youth, to a confrontation path where they will suffer loss of life. End quote. It also cautioned people against rioting and anarchy. And moving on to sports news. Novak Djokovic has dismantled Russia's Medvedev in straight sets to win his record breaking extended ninth Australian Open title. The move now puts world number one Djokovic within two spots of Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal's record of 20 major victories. But that's a wrap on the news from me. Do leave us your feedback and your comments. I really enjoy reading your comments. We'll be back again tomorrow to give you the news. But for now, enjoy your evening. Good night.